section, we covered starting a new Premiere Pro CC project, but now we need clips so that we can start working. We can import clips a number of ways. You can go under File, Import. You can also use the shortcut, which is Control-I or Command-I on the Mac. You can also double-click on an empty space in the project panel. Any of these will open an import dialog box. You can go directly from Explorer on Windows or Finder on the Mac and just drag your clips directly from the Explorer panel into the Premiere Pro CC project. So let's go ahead and import some footage. File, Import. The import dialog opens up and I'm going to choose a couple of video files. I'm going to go ahead and delete these so that I can import them in different ways. Now I'm going to try Command-I on the Mac. Remember, that's Control-I on Windows. This opens the same import dialog box and I can choose my files. And now they appear in the project panel just like they did before. Again, I will delete them. I can also double-click on an empty place here in the project panel and the same import dialog opens up. I will delete them as well. Now I'm going to import these files by dragging them directly from the directory in which they are located. For example, I can open Explorer on Windows or Finder on the Mac and I can drag a directory or a single file directly from its place in the system to the Premiere Pro project panel. Of course, there are other ways of importing files into Premiere Pro CC, but right now let's stick to these and go on. Up until now, I have imported only video files. How about if we need to import a still? What happens? Well, let's try it. I will double-click an empty space right here in the project panel, and now I will choose a still. One of these JPEGs will be fine. You can see when I import any file, the project panel gives me some information by just looking at it. The icon that displays the still is slightly different. This is a visual indication that I have that this file is a still. And it's also giving me the file extension, which in this case is JPEG. Before we keep on importing other types of files, let's customize the project panel a little bit. You can change the display of the project panel to go from a list to icons by clicking on these two icons here at the bottom left of your project panel. Notice that when you change from list to icon, it's giving you a little bit more information than you had before. It's giving you a poster frame. What this means is that you can recognize what the clip is by looking at one of the frames that is in the video or by looking at the still image. The project panel can also give you even more information by showing the preview area. This preview area is going to show you the poster frame and you will be able to play the clip directly in here and it will give you slightly more information. We'll tell you the length of the clip, the name of the clip, and if you have used it in any sequence, it will show you where you have used it. Of course, we have not used this clip in any sequence, so it's not showing anything. You can toggle this preview area by clicking on the panel menu and choosing the preview area, and then if you don't want to see it anymore, you can uncheck it by clicking in the exact place again. Let's go back into importing footage. The last clip that we imported was a still, and you notice that the duration of this still was 5 seconds, which is the default length. We can change all of this in the preferences. In a Windows system, the preferences are located under the Edit menu, but on a Mac, they are under the Premiere Pro menu. So I'm on a Mac, I'll choose Premiere Pro CC menu and choose Preferences. From here, choose General, and in here you can change the still image default duration to whatever you need. Please notice that it is measured in frames. So in NTSC, which is what we play in the United States, we're going at a frame rate of almost 30 frames per second, which means that 150 frames would be 5 seconds. If you would like for stills to have a longer duration by default, you have to calculate how many frames per second and how long you want it to be. If I want for my stills to be 6 seconds, then I would change this value to 180 frames. Please notice that this will not affect files that are already in the project panel. It only affects newly imported files. In the next section, we will continue importing footage into Premiere Pro CC, including Photoshop and Illustrator files. See you then.